I wanted to talk to you guys about the role of mothers and homemaking in particular. But what I mean by homemaking is keeping up on things like laundry, dishes, meals, and tidying, floors. Like those are, I think, kind of the big ones. But then also the family rhythms that we are in charge of to get our children to go flow through a day nicely. So I think homemaking is so much more than just housekeeping. It's like home management, that whole shebang. So I want to talk to you guys today and how hard that role is. It is not a role that comes easy to me. It is not something I enjoy. I don't enjoy washing dishes. I don't enjoy cleaning floors. And to be frank, my standards are not that high in general. Like how do I word this? I am often unaware of a lot of these things. I spend a lot of time up here in my own world, in my own mental world. So I don't always notice when the house is falling apart. And therefore it's very hard to prioritize something that in the long run it's not something I'm super passionate about by nature. Now, I understand that this is an easy role for some, and if that's you, and if you've got it all figured out and it's a role that you enjoy and have found your rhythms in, then skip on over. I'm talking to those of you who it's still hard for, to those of you who struggle every day to, clothe your kids because you don't know where the clean laundry is and because it gets mixed in with the dirty laundry, to those of you who are scrambling at lunchtime for dishes because you forgot to wash dishes yesterday or put them in the dishwasher, run the dishwasher. I mean, it should be so simple, right? Run the dishwasher every night. That's what everyone says. Yeah, it's more complicated than that. That is a hard habit to create. I'm not going to make bones about it. Like it's a hard habit to create for many of us. So those are the people that I want to talk to. And what I want to tell you is that there is hope. We recently moved from our 100-year-old falling down farmhouse with 5 kids in about 1,300 square feet with 1 bathroom, and moved into a bigger home. I don't know the exact square footage of it, but it's significantly bigger. I mean, you can even see my kitchen behind me. It is it's a huge kitchen. We built it that way on purpose because we do a lot of family baking and cooking, but it's actually maintained. It's not a complete disaster. I think it's Fly Lady coined the term chaos, can't have anyone over syndrome. That was me for a very, 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 very long time. So I wanted to share with you what made the switch to the point that I have company coming over this afternoon, a new friend that I met at a Canada Day celebration last week, actually. She was admiring my adorable daughter, calling all of the animals cows. Anyways, so I was able to invite her over and I'm not stressed about the state of my home. Huge advancement, leaps and bounds. And I haven't been scrubbing furiously either. So the change for me was my attitude. I did not find the perfect system. I did not magically get good at it. The change came for me with a change in attitude. And I have now gone from grumbling, and it's still a conscious effort that I make every day because it is so easy to grumble when you see that pile of laundry that needs to get washed. Otherwise, your kids end up wearing their town clothes when they go and play in the dirt pile in the back. I mean, that's never happened here. Of course not. My daughter doesn't go play in the dirt in her Sunday dresses. Okay, if you follow me regularly and watch my stories, you get exposed to my adventurous little daughter. Yeah, so anyways, there's dirt. There's literally right now dirt on the countertop because she was dancing on it. She went to play in the dirt earlier and then she came and danced on the countertop, so that's fun. But I'm not stressed about my home anymore. So the big thing was an attitude adjustment. And I found when I made that attitude adjustment from one of grumbling to one of gratitude, that all of a sudden my children's attitudes shifted as well. They no longer, I shouldn't say never, but almost never grumble about contributing to home care. And my kids contribute in a really meaningful way. My kitchen is pretty much clean and all I have done is washed a few of those dishes. There's not very much there, and I've got some eggs. There, see, I will back up and show you. There's my eggs drying. I washed some eggs. That's all I did. And the rest of this was done by my children without grumbling. I mean, this morning was without grumbling. Yesterday there was a little bit of grumbling. But anyways, And also my husband has come to, with my attitude adjustment, he has come to really appreciate my role as a homemaker even more so. And he works a lot of hours. So we're dairy farmers, if you don't know that. And that means that he is up all the time. Like he's working, 10 hours a day. He also is on call all night because we have milk robots that will call him with random little quirks in the middle of the night. Sometimes he spends 2-3 hours in the barn in the middle of the night to try to fix equipment to keep things running. So when you talk about a high stress, high physical labor kind of job, he's in it. And yet he still contributes to the house. And it has to do with the fact that he, my children, and myself came to a point of gratitude for our home. And now you can say, oh, it's easy. You've got this great, big, beautiful house now. And I've told myself that too, actually. I thought, well, it's only because I've got, we built this house and it was like designed from the ground up, literally designed by me for our family. But the reality is I started evaluating, and it really started years ago after I had my fourth, when I really spiraled into that debilitating anxiety. And I couldn't go for a walk without thinking, like, I would put my baby in the carrier and I'd go for walks. But I couldn't do that because I was afraid something bad would happen. That's how debilitating my anxiety was, even on the farm. So I couldn't even go like in my backyard with the baby because I thought something would happen. During that time, I really had to make a lot of changes. First of all, the kids and my husband had to step up because I just physically and mentally was not capable of doing it. But also it gave me a lot of time to reflect and shift from, I hate this stinky old farmhouse with its 100 years of grime and its busted bathtub that my kids can't even take a bath in anymore because it leaks, to I am so grateful to have a furnace in the middle of winter that's running. I am so grateful that this room has curtains that I can close so that the hot sun doesn't boil me and my baby. Our windows were absolutely terrible. They let all of the heat in, but I had curtains and I could close them. So little tiny bits of gratitude like that, starting out with the really, really simple things. I am so grateful that we have enough food. And this was actually when that my second son at the time was mopping the kitchen floor a few years ago. And he said, Mom, I am so grateful that we have enough food that when it falls on the floor, we can just throw it in the garbage and we don't need to eat off the floor. That was really, really humbling for me to hear him say that. And my eldest son at the time, he said, Mom, I am so grateful that we have this little corner of carpet. And it was filthy, filthy carpet. Like it was old and grimy and gross. He said, I am so grateful we have this little corner of carpet so that we can play Lego on carpet instead of on the freezing cold floor, because our floors were not insulated. So especially during winter, we would have to lay blankets down in order for anybody to play on the floor. But we had carpet in just that one section of the home. And he says, I'm so glad that we don't have to sit on the cold floor. Once we all started making those attitude adjustments and not just thinking it, but verbalizing it. And when we would catch ourselves grumbling, and even to this day, if we catch ourselves grumbling, I will say, oh my goodness, there's so much counter to clean up. And the kids will now pipe up and say, but Mom, you love this counter. It's beautiful. And I'll say, yes, it is. And so I just want to give you hope. If you are in a place that you are stuck and overwhelmed with your homemaking role, there is hope. There is a way to not, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's still work. But there is a way to make that work easier by changing your attitude towards it and coming from a place of gratitude. So, yeah. What you could do, leave me a comment below and leave me something very simple about your home that you can choose gratitude over rather than grumbling. I would love to hear it.